Hello, students. Today we are going to discuss linguistics part. One of the important parts of linguistics is IC analysis, deep and surface structure, classification of morphemes, semantic field, and collocation. Right? So, first, let us understand IC analysis. Introduction. Historical background, semantic fallacy versus synchronic description. So, first of all, traditional grammar uses meaning as the primary goal of linguistic analysis. Why linguistic analysis is important? According to traditional grammar, they say that linguistic analysis is required for primary goal is that for knowing the meaning, right? So that is meaning as the primary goal, right? So meaning, for meaning we do linguistic analysis, and it has not an adequate notion of a linguistic rule and appeals only to intuition, and that is according to traditional grammar. They say that why do we do IC analysis? Because we want to know the meaning, right? But the structuralists ignored meaning and emphasized that the language discover the various constituents of language as a botanist discovers the petals of a flower. Very good description here. What they say that the structuralists ignored that the purpose of IC analysis is meaning. No, they say that they emphasize, structuralists emphasize that the language should be studied in a mechanical way. Means, as they have given example, that linguistics discover should therefore discover the various constituents of language as a botanist discovers the petals of the flower. When we do analysis, when we do description, when we write description, and then when we do dissection of a frog or earthworm, uh, so then we open the body of frog, and then internal organs we study. Similarly, when we we learn description of flower, so then we count number of petals, number of sepals, androecium, gynoecium. Similarly, what he is saying that structuralist say that we have to know, we have to count, and not exactly count, but we have to discover different parts of the speech, and what we can say that parts we have to discuss in linguistics, right? IC analysis. The definition of many of the parts of speech was based on meaning, as this was objected by structuralists, since meaning is not objectively verifiable. What structuralist versus traditional grammarian, right? So what they say that as there are 8 parts of speech, and according to meaning, like name is called noun, action is called verb, right? Quality of verb is called adverb, something. So here noun is defined as the name of the person, place, thing, yet cannot include blue, red in the list of noun. That is adjective, although they are also name of the color. So structuralist says that they say that why noun is the name, so red blue is also color, name of color. So why colors are uh, not counted as noun? So then they raise question. Then verb is defined as that which denotes an action or process, but action, destruction are not verbs. though they denote action. Again, contradiction, that the definition of verb is an action or process. But action, destruction are not verbs, though they denote action. So why not description? Destruction is also counted as a verb, because that is also an action. Destruction is also an action, right? So this is again contradiction, and they are against of grammarian, traditional grammarian. And then next variety of sentences, that's the interrogative sentence, is defined as the as one that asks a question, but would you pass the salt is also request, but it is counted, that question is counted as a request. So these definitions are based on meaning and not on form. So what their argument is that noun, why name of the colors, noun is the name, so why name of the colors are not counted as noun? Now verb is action, so destruction is also an action, so why destruction is not counted as a verb? Then they say that uh, interrogative sentence is question, and then would you pass the salt is also question, so why not this statement is counted as a question? So that is again structuralist and grammar. That's a logical question which are raised by a structuralist, right? To the structuralist, grammar is a discovery of organization of a sentence unto its immediate and ultimate consequence. Structuralists say that grammar is a discovery of the organization of a sentence, because we in a sentence we organize, we bring subject, then add with verb, then with object, right, unto its immediate or ultimate consequence. So this way we make, after organization of different blocks, when kids are taught numbers and all, so we give them blocks, so they arrange blocks and then they make something productive. Similarly here, grammar is an organization of different blocks, right? So that is their argument. Now, according to definition of IC analysis, immediate consequence analysis is one of the strong methods of analyzing a sentence linguistically. And what's the aim of IC analysis? It aims at finding out the ultimate constituent, means morpheme. Morpheme is simple language, it's a word, right? So we have to find out the word or words. Ultimately, when we find out, when settle, we reach to the word, that is morpheme of a sentence, and their relationship with one another. The baby has fallen its food. So the relationship between the and baby, the baby, right, has third person singular for use for baby, fallen because of has, right, it's without apostrophe, that's a possessive pronoun for baby, it's used for baby. Food, have it's food, food is, that's a noun object, right? So this is that's a ultimate constraint and their relation with one another. IC analysis, a term introduced by US linguist Leonard Bloomfield in 1933 in linguistics, is a system of grammatical analysis that divides sentence into successive layers or constituent until in the final layer each constituent consists of only one word or meaningful part of word. For example, poor John ran away. So poor, one word, then John, second word, rain, third word, away, fourth word, That's a layer 2. Here, the IC analysis attempts to break down constituents into subparts that are in some sense grammatically relevant. Means IC analysis attempt to break down different constituents into subparts. Here, poor, John, ran, away is subparts that are in some sense grammatically relevant. They are grammatically relevant. Okay. Now, Bloomsfield shows a sentence is seen not as a sequence or a string of elements, poor plus John plus friend plus away, but as being made up of layers of constituents. Bloomsfield says that the sentence is not just the sequence or a string of element, but it is being made up of layers of constituents. Bloomfield IC analysis illustrates how a sentence can be split up into their immediate constituents and in which turn analyzable into further constituents. Right now, the initial emphasis was upon pure segmentation, simply dividing the sentence into its constituent and elements without at first knowing what these elements were. The principle was that we take a sentence and cut it into two, or then cut these parts into two and continue with this segmentation until we reach the lowest unit of morpheme. Means purpose is that when sentence is analyzed, means we cut the sentence into different parts layer wise. First noun phrase, then noun phrase, verb phrase, then noun phrase is divided into noun and prepositional phrase. I'm just giving example. Then here verb phrase is divided into verb phrase and prepositional phrase, something this way. Generally the division and then when we reach in the last word, that is morpheme. But generally the division is binary except in some cases where division into 3 or more points is allowed. So what is immediate, ultimate, larger construction, linear structure? The noun IC has one meaning, a constituent of sentence at the first step in an analysis. At each stage of division, the two constituents are the ICs of that particular construction. They are immediate because there are no mediation or interrupting entities between them. For example, poor John ran away, right? So what they are saying that the noun IC has one meaning, right? A constituent of sentence at the first step is an analysis. At each stage of division, the two constituents are the ICs of that particular construction, right? Now, the morpheme are the ultimate constituent of the sentence. We are discussing that finally John ran away, right? These are morphemes. Now, the expression ultimate constituents implies what is written here. These elements are not further analyzable as syntactic layer. We further analyze them, we will enter the realm of phonology. Phonology is the relation of words and tone of words, right? These constituents have been organized in a particular order in the sentence. A jumble of morpheme thrown together at random might have produced a non-sentence. Away John poor ran, right? That is not a sentence. So this is unorganized sentence, no order, right? Away John poor ran. The sequential ordering of the ultimate constituents is called linear of the sentence. When line wise, when order wise, every word will be organized, that is called linear of the sentence. The construction may be defined as any significant group of words or morpheme, right? Any significant group of words or morphemes, significant morphemes, right? Group of morphemes. Morphemes, words, phrases, clauses are all constituent of sentence. These all are constituent of sentences, and though all of them are not ultimate constituent, so these all are not ultimate constituent except for morphemes. So when we reach last word, that is called morpheme, and the phrasal relationship can be showed in the following manner. For example, sentences: the boy munched the nuts, right? So layer 1, subject and predicate. Then the boy munched the nuts, right? That is IC1, IC analysis 1, right? Then modifier or determiner, article, in that phrase the boy, that is the, then boy, noun. Then munch the nuts, munched, munch plus ed, right? That's a main verb. Then the nuts is, the is article, then nuts, leave nuts, then noun, nut plus s, and then morpheme, that's a nut plus s is in this screen. Actually that is not that is what we can say, that view is not clear, but when you see it in the normal that's a uh, what we can say, in normal desktop what is called screen, so then you will be able to see how this sentence is divided, right? So that is IC analysis. That's the first what we can say, the construction. So they have here, they have given the terms. What are the terms? So first, that's a sentence is divided into different parts, then morpheme, then these are the, this way sentences are divided. Now representing IC analysis. The hierarchical organization of constituents in IC analysis is comparable to that of a nation consisting of hierarchy of states, districts, towns, villages, families, individual members in the families. What they are saying, that representing IC analysis, the hierarchical organization of constituents is in IC analysis is comparable to that of, means they are comparing how a sentence is analyzed. So first that's a hierarchy of states, district, then town, then village, the family, then individual member. Individual member is, that's a morpheme. The entire utterance or sentence may be compared to a nation, and at the lowest level the morphemes, that is that they are saying individual members or morpheme may be compared to individual members, right? So good analysis, good explanation. Okay, now simple bracketing or tree diagram. You can analyze with simple bracketing or tree diagram. Does not show the nature and functions of constituent. The this inadequacy was removed by introducing the notion of labeling, labeled bracketing, and tree with labeled nodes gives us an insight into the syntactical function of the ultimate and immediate constituents of sentences. How? The tree diagram is also known as phrase maker, and as in fact it picturizes the phrase structure of a particular sentence. How? Let us see. That's a auxiliary main verb, that auxiliary, for auxiliary a main verb, that's a noun main verb, right? That's a. Okay, now nodes. For nodes, a point in which classes branch into subclass, right? So when there is the, that's a, we show branches, so that head, that is called nodes. Okay, then the branches, the lines that lend down from one point to the next lower point I'm making here. That's a this way. This is called branches, right? This is branch. This is called branches this way, right? Now the boy munched the nuts, so that first square bracket, then normal bracket, right? Then these the is different than boy, then munch, then ed, then then nut, then s. Then poor John ran away this way. Each word is in bracket, 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 right? Ultimately, last bracket is square bracket. All the brackets are closed with square bracket. So these labels are categorical or formal, indicating the categories to which each constituent belongs, right? Okay. Functional labels like subject, predicate, object, etc. can be used to label the constituents. Such labels shows the relationship among the constituents which formal labels cannot. What they're saying, that functional label. Here what label we have seen, that's a first is that's a simple bracketing or tree diagram. So this is bracketing or tree diagram I told you, and we have discussed previous slideshow. That was the tree diagram, right? And then now the labels are categorical or formal, indicating the categories to which each constituent belongs. So that is next, that's each label, like poor is noun, poor is, sorry, adjective, John is noun, something. Now functional label. So functional label is, that's a here what let me tell you, that's a, what they are talking about. They are talking about this label. Which label? This one. This is the this. Labels are categorical or formal, indicating the categories here. Now functional label. Number 2 is functional label. Like subject, predicate, object, etc. can be used to label the constituents. Such labels show the relationship, that's a wrong spelling, relationship among the constituents which formal labels cannot. What they are saying, that functional label means what's the subject, what's the predicate, what's the object, cannot be used the label of constituents. Such labels show the relationship among the constituents which formal label cannot do. Formal is what? That's a formal label. Here we have discussed the formal, right? That is formal label. This is a formal labels, right? This is one, right? Formal. I'm telling you, this is formal, right? Now functional. This one is functional. Now okay, functional labels like subject, predicate, and show the relation uh, among the constituents which formal labels cannot. So here they show the relationship. And noun phrase NP, for instance, can function as subject or object. We know that. I gave example many time. I used to speak that Ram killed Ravan. Ram is noun, Ravan is noun, but Ram is subject and Ravan is object, because Ram is doer and subject is receiver. Ravan is object, and Ravan is receiver. Right? So this is there. Now in terms of functions of constituents, constructions can be grouped into 5 types. Very important. What? In terms of functions of constituents, right? So functions of constituents, constructions can be grouped into 5. What? That is predicate, predication, modification, right? then complementation, subordination, coordination, right? So these are the different what we can say that functions: predicate, modification, modifiers, complement, subordinate, coordinate. What is predicate? Like from, subject and other words are called predicate. Then modification or modifiers: a beautiful girl, right? So beauty, a beautiful, modification, a beautiful girl, Reena, right? So that's a modifier, Reena. Complementation: when sentence other words which are used as complement. Then ordination, subordinate, like if you water the plant, they will grow, right? So that's a, if you water the plants, that is subordination, है ना? And then coordination: when subject then there is coordination between two sentences or words. So that is coordination, right? Okay. Now, using IC analysis to disambiguate simple sentence. IC analysis is more to do with disambiguation. Disambiguate, we have to disambiguate the sentence, right? How? IC analysis can account for certain types of ambiguities to an extent. Means how we are taking meaning of the sentence, that's very important. Sometimes we can come across sentences to which more than one structure can be assigned, having therefore more than one meaning, right? More than one structure, more than one ambiguous sentence. For example, very common and very interesting and actually ambiguity in this sentence: old men and women, uh, old men and women. There are two meanings: old men and women, old men and women. Means in second one here, that's a old men, but women are not old, whatever the sentence, but women are not old. So, and in first sentence, old woman and old men and old women, right? So again confusion. So the difference in meaning cannot be attributed to any one of the ultimate constituents, but results from a difference in the way they are associated with one another. Ambiguity of this kind is referred to as syntactic ambiguity. Syntactic ambiguity: not all syntactic ambiguity is satisfactorily accounted for in terms of consequence structure. Why syntactic ambiguity? Because sentence structure is not proper. I remember, just a minute. Right now I'm not getting, but very interesting sentence, that there was a syntactic ambiguity sometime. uh, if the only you will fail something. Right now I'm not getting, but I tell you later on. That's a lots of sentences which where we are not sure. For example, they have given another example: they can fish, they can fish, right? What's the sentence? Auxiliary can and then main verb fish. Now they can fish, then they can fish. So if you read can fish, right, that is another tone, and then they can fish, three separate words. Similarly, we can make Egyptians cotton shirt unambiguous by having the first cut either after Egyptian, a cotton shirt made in Egypt, or after cotton. If you read shirt made of Egyptian cotton. Different sentences, different meaning, right? Egyptian cotton shirt. So that's the first is, that's a simple shirt is made in Egypt, right? So that is Egyptian cotton shirt. Then another is after cotton shirt made of Egyptian cotton, and then one is Egyptian cotton shirt is made in India, but we have used Egyptian cotton. So another meaning. So Egyptian cotton shirt, which is made in Egypt, Egyptian cotton shirt. So cotton, which is in this shirt, the cotton which is used, which is made in Egyptian, which is grown in Egyptian, so that is Egyptian cotton. So here our emphasis is Egyptian cotton, and here just Egyptian because place is on focus, right? So slightly more difficult is he said he was coming today. If today belongs with said, the first cut is presumably after coming. If it belongs with coming, the cut shall be made after said. How? He said he was coming today. Okay. So simple meaning, he said he was coming today. He said he was coming today. Now he said he was coming today means what he narrated, his sentence, what is spoken by him. He said he was coming today. This statement is given today according to first cut. He said he was coming today. He prompt he was coming today. Another meaning. Now, flying planes can be dangerous. The sentence can mean two meanings. First is the action of flying planes can be dangerous. Planes can be dangerous, and planes which fly can be dangerous, right? So flying cut plane can be dangerous means flying. When when planes are flight, when planes fly, it is very dangerous in flying situation, and flying planes can be dangerous, right? So that is all flying planes can be dangerous. So deep and surface structure, that's another part, that is we have discussed here. That is what? That is, wait a minute. Here we discuss IC analysis, right? On different angles. What is IC analysis? Then representing IC analysis we discuss. Then here another thing we discuss, that is we are going to discuss, that is surface structure. Visiting doctors can be nuisance. We visit doctors, it can be nuisance. Doctors visit, they can be nuisance. Two superficially different sentences are shown in these examples. So first let us see, visiting doctors can be nuisance means not regular doctors but visiting doctors, it can be nuisance, right? We visit doctors, it can be nuisance. When we visit doctors, there is lots of nuisance, right? Doctors visit us, they can be nuisance. When doctors come to us, it is nuisance, right? Now, two superficially different sentences are shown in these examples. Raj broke the window. The window was broken by Raj, active and passive. In traditional grammar, the first is called active sentence, focusing on what Raj did, and in second sentence is a passive sentence focusing on the window and what happened to it. The distinction between them is a difference in their surface structure. That is, the different syntactic forms they have an individual English sentence. However, the superficial difference in form is organization of sentence. disguises the fact that the two sentences are very closely related, even identical, at some less superficial level. The other underlying level where the basic components noun phrase, verb phrase plus noun phrase shared by two sentences can be represented is called their deep structure. The deep structure is an abstract level of structural organization in which all the elements determining structural interpretation are represented. The same deep structure can be the source of many other surface structure, such as it was Raj who broke the window, and was the window broken by Raj, right? In short, the grammar must be capable of showing how a single underlying abstract representation can become different surface action, right? So that is something. Now moving to next. Here we have learned that sentence active passive, the structure is changed, that is surface structure means as we read once, so that is surface structure, so the meaning is different. But then in traditional grammar, what they said that the two superficially different sentences are shown in this example. Raj broke the window, and the window was broken by Raj. So grammatical traditional grammar says that active and passive, right? And focusing on the window, one is on the person and second sentence on the object, right? So that is surface structure. Surface structure means when we see the structure, superficial difference, what's the difference, right? So that is here they have shown. Now semantics. Semantics is the branch of linguistics that studies meaning. Important thing is semantics means meaning. The word is derived from the Greek noun sema, which means signal, and verb siemens, which means signify. Semantics may be described as a study relating to significant meaning, signification of meaning. It is the study of relationship between a referent, between a signifier and its signified. It is difficult to explain what we mean by a meaning with a baby learning to speak. We point out its father and say daddy. For some days the child will call an adult man daddy, and it is only later that it comes to realize that it refers exclusively to one man, its father. Until this, right, realization is complete, the child cannot be said to have learned the word daddy unless we come across their usage and begin to use them in sentence of our own. We have not learned the meaning of these words. Very important, very important. Signifier and signified. Semantic means meaning, and meanings, that's a word which is a Greek word. And then the study of the relationship between the referent and its referent, between signifier signified. And that is what he says that for some days a child means in the beginning we have to do the same like child. Some days the child will call the adult man daddy, right, because it is taught by its mother, father, parents, right? So and then he realize and refers exclusively to one man, its father. But right, only later he comes to realize. Why? Because every adult man, that when baby learn that father say daddy, right? So every young man, here you can see that with a baby learning to speak, we point its father and say daddy. For someday the child will call all adult, right? So the child will call all adult man daddy, right? Daddy. But later he realized that it exclusively for one man, right? Its father. Now realization is complete to the child cannot be said to have learned the word daddy unless we come or we usage. So what he say that the more we use this word and in the sentence, and one day we'll be able to understand, we learn the meaning of the word. So we have to use it in different contexts, right? Now a word has different meanings. The fundamental meaning is lexical or denotative meaning. The lexical meaning is what we find in the dictionaries. For example, we know the meaning of dog. It is domestic pet, right? Animal. We can understand the meaning of the word dog without having any dog in mind. It constructions my dog is an accusation. The reference is not to any dog but to particular dog. The meaning becomes referential. There is a contextual meaning. Honorable has its clear lexical meaning, but Antony's speech, the term is ironical use. So connotation means meaning. Association. A word can have different connotations. The same word can signify different things to different people through, right? Various association. For example, we may not like certain persons. If our dislike is intense and deep, we develop such an aversion that may hate the very name. Suppose I don't like Mr. John. So as I listen about Mr. John and I get irritated. Many Jews, I hate the name of Hitler because of his atrocities on the Jews. So similarly, the name Teresa can provoke positive association. So if you listen Ram, for example, don't take it like personally, Ram, then we would like to listen this name. But when we listen Ravan, then we don't want to listen because of negative character. So this is what they are saying, that connotation and association. So that according to word means there is feeling, there is number of stories behind this, so then we connotate the word, right? And that is, we can have different connotations. That's a connotation. The same word can signify different things to different people through, because some may like Ravan, some may like Ram, and then there is different association. Ram as name, so no one wants to put name Ravan. Why? Because of his stories. That is association. And connotation Ram, because Ram is positive character this way. Now collocation. What's the collocation? A word on its own is powerful, but in combination with other words it can be more powerful. Mummy is effective, but dear, dear, darling mummy can be much more evocative. Collocation simply means putting together two or more words or phrases together. Loving, kindness, tender one, the most unkindest, cute are powerful connotation, right? Collocation can change the meaning of words. Suppose my very very beautiful uh, dear someone, so that is collocation, right? So that's a collocation can change the meaning of words. And maiden may be a woman, but a maiden speech is the first speech, and maiden over is an over in which no run is conceded by bowler. A cover drive, long corner, free hit, free kick are collocations used in register of sports. With white race is in fact pinkish grey, white, wine, ID, pale yellow or gold. White night is sleeplessness. White lie is a forgivable lie. Collocations have to be used carefully. What they are saying that by collocation, that collocation means that's a word on its own is powerful, but combination with other words it can be more powerful. Mummy, and then when you use some adjective, some different words for your mummy, so that will be more powerful. Their collocation can change the meaning of words, right? Maiden may be a woman, right? But maiden speech is a unexperienced speech, right? At first speech. Or maiden over is the over in which no run is conceded, right? So that is something to do with cricket. So different words, different association, and then that is different meaning. Collocations have to be used carefully. Antique and elderly may belong to the same semantic field and their nucleus meaning is old. Antique and elderly means old. We can say an antique table, an elderly man, but antique gentleman and elderly table are not permissible. Important. Here we have to use carefully, right? What collocations? Why? Because an antique gentleman, an elderly table, not permissible. So predictable collocation is called cliche, right? That is cliche. A cliche is used so frequently that it has become hackneyed or meaningless. Too much, right? The burning question at the end of the day, in respect of, under the circumstances, in accordance with, on account of. So that is hackneyed, because many a time the same meaning, then we don't want to listen, and then it is not effective. That is something they are talking about. A wholly unexpected collocation can be arresting. Instead of burning hot, an expression like freezing hot or collocations like vociferous lobsters, condensed moonlight can be interesting. Another type of collocation is one in which the meaning cannot be deducted from the words that make the collocation. Blowing up one's own trumpet is to boast, and to accept a remark with a grain of salt is not the entirely belief. That is something phrasal verb like put up with are of the same kind. Now semantic field. A set of words have the same nucleus meaning. This is, I'm not reading because this is too much detail, right? Now important morpheme. For morpheme I'm going to make another video just now after this. So here I am winding up, wrap up, and then moving to, I would start from morpheme. Thank you so much, and if you have any question, please ask me. Today we have discussed that the IC analysis, what the IC analysis, and some of the terms like collocation, association, cliche, and how semantic and structural, syntactic, right? So what's the difference and how these words and sentences can be used, right? So thank you so much, and then we are making another video, right? Thank you.